Thanks for joining me. Here in the Barefoot Bunker, I am Herschel G. Sorry about the microphone trouble there. And we are playing the second round of the partially postponed tournament at Torrey Pines South on the Simulator Golf Tour this week. That's SGT, simulatorgolftour.com. You can check out more. This is the pro tips of those tours. And I played round one, and if you joined me before, I shot -3 in the first round and then had to wuss out with a wrist injury, and I've rested for a couple days. And I'm hoping to come back and play some golf and see here. We should have all these should load up. Yep. So play round two. That's us. And ooh, from 7,000 yards, a little longer. We've got breezy conditions. Stimp is a 12. Normal green firmness and normal fairway firmness. That'll load up here. And like I said, we were away for just a couple of days with a little bit of a wrist injury. And if you saw that live on, I believe, the 15th hole at Torrey Pines, and that was the first round here of the Pro Tour on the SGT SimulatorGolfTour.com tours. So a lot of fun to compete, put a little extra pressure on your game that you wouldn't normally get in a simulator, and gives you a chance to get out and play the course multiple times, which makes that watching on the weekend, for those of you that do, that much more enjoyable. So here we are at number one. We're going to jump right off and try to get a ball off into the fairway on this 435-yard par 4, number one. The wind is moving across to our left a little bit here, helping maybe slightly, but not too much. Let's just get a ball out in the short grass. And that's not going to be the short grass. All right, a little eager to hit the ball out there. So we're going to chase it a little bit now. We've got a long ways to go. So down the hill, 5 feet 1 inch. 225 yards away out of the rough, which isn't affecting it too much out here on this week. It's just mostly taking some of that spin off. So we'll see if we can get this to run up there somewhere. Not really, but it'll be out there in the short grass. So didn't hit it great. It's going to run a little bit more here. And we've got our work cut out for us on number one to stay at 3 under for the tournament. Well, that'll at least give us a somewhat reasonable look at a putt here. But it is a long par 4, and I've mentioned before, these longer par 4s on courses like this definitely stress out my short knocking game. Let's see how much we think this is going to move. Doesn't really move right at all, even though the line that my ball's on would suggest that it does, but it doesn't move that way past it at all. So it moves that much it moves left the whole way. Does it move that much? Or is it just a hair more? I think it might be just inside of that, maybe 16 feet downhill 1 inch. You know, let's see where we're at. Let's just keep it straight. And just misses on the outside, was just a hair too much. Didn't take the break. The speed was right. I pushed it out 1/10 of a degree. I guess that could technically have been the difference, but I really should have just taken a little bit of a different line. All right, number 2, wind behind us, short par 4. Stays straight and should run out pretty good. Didn't really use the wind to my advantage, but like I said, it's a short par 4. Put this in the downhill 7. I think this is actually just a controlled 9-iron here. I know it's not much, but it's early in the round. Certainly don't want to go flying over it. What's this do? Oh, look at that, because it's normal firmness. It ends up decent. I don't know. Let's steal one. What do you say? It's moving a little bit. Don't want that cursor arrow in there. Okay, so it's moving about that much. We overread the last one. Moving about that much. 11 feet 3 inches, downhill 1 inch. Moving the whole way, so we're going to have it all the way out there. There we go. Picks up a birdie after the bogey, so back to even par for the tournament and the round. Now we get the signature hole, downhill 11 yards. The wind's a little bit behind us. So let's say 154 would be a 7 iron. Down there is an 8 iron. The wind. Yeah, we're still hitting 8 iron. Okay, I think 8 iron's the right play here. Yeah, right? Just sit down soft. Okay. Yeah, that was the right iron. Downhill overall, obviously, but I think it looks like it's a little bit uphill at first, then downhill more at the end. It's going to break a lot. It's going to break even that much. Honestly, it's going to break that much because it's downhill that much and breaking that much. So let's see. Just settle right there. All right, I'll take that lag. A little ambitious with the read because I hit it straight on the line. You might be able to notice that. We move on to number 4, even par. This one is definitely a long par 4 no matter how you slice it, but with the wind in my face like that, it definitely makes it a little longer. Okay, yeah, well, like I said, plus I spun it just a little bit too much, but going uphill into the wind, it's a tough one. So let's just get it up there as close as we can. We basically treat these like par 5s because I do short knock it up there a little bit. Let's see what we got. They're going to turn it all for a guy, just sit down. Don't go all the way down there. Okay, I guess the thick grass helps me right there, so. Okay. Uphill 7 yards. It's from the deep rough. Want it up there. Could be a costly miss right there, huh? Well, certainly trying to rely on a bomb and a prayer here as a putt, but got 41 feet, uphill 3 inches, so I'm going to treat it more like it's 45 or so. Going to break the whole way there, so probably about right that, and treat it about 3 screens in this case. Settle right there. Okay, well, what more can you do but lag it and take your bogey, take your medicine there. Poorly played, so there we are. Let's try to sneak back in it here on number 5, downhill par 4. You gonna hold its head at all? No, it's really not. It's not that well hit. It's not the first drive today to not be well hit. So what do we have? Stay straight for it. All right. Well, I'm going to have to chip that back to it. Maybe try to chip it in. Hit that 7 wood pretty good, but it was just a hair much, as you saw. Now we got 7 yards coming back, 2 inches downhill. Try to set it off to the right of the hole and have it bleed back into the hole. How about it? Oh, just missed. Thought I had that. All right. Take my par there. Work on to the par 5. Wind in my face again. And this is a 3-shot par 5 no matter what. So I just got to set one out in the fairway. And that's not going to be in the fairway. But again, it is a 3-shot par 5, so coming out of the rough, not the heavy rough. Let's try to run that 3-wood up here a little bit. Let's go ahead and favor the other side of the fairway because we keep ending up, well, even favoring more like this, actually. And we'll send it and try to leave a good approach. Well, maybe it'll run a little bit. Not hitting the 3-wood well so far, you can see. Got a little longer approach than I usually like in here. So downhill 4 inches, the wind's cutting across a little bit. 150. You know what? That wind is going to affect it. So I'm going to treat it like it's going to move it to the right and take a little distance off of it. That way we'll just play it in there, try to have a nice controlled iron in. Oh, it went deep. Okay, I thought the wind was going to affect the distance a little more than it did. Don't know what I was thinking. This one's definitely a little bit of a double breaker, but mostly it's breaking that way. And it's probably breaking that way. It's about right, I think. Downhill. All right, probably going to have to putt that again. Oh, no, just inside the gimme. And another fairly long par 4. This one with the wind behind me, so a little bit more favorable, but and downhill 8 yards, so and a little dog leg right. I overprotected a little bit, but that's okay. This ball moved and it wouldn't have got a read, so I stopped. Here we go. Oh, and then I didn't get a read at all. I don't know what happened there. Let's prove that because I hit that pretty well. Didn't hit that one as well. How about a big bounce? No? Okay. Begging, yeah. If you've watched me before, you know I might beg just a little bit for some of those. Just got to make better shots. And not a great shot, not a great outcome. Pulled that immediately. So, 2 over. And that brings us to number 8, which is a par 3 with the wind cutting across. So let's make the adjustment there. Or that much even. Uphill quite a bit. I'm going to try to take the 5-iron up there and let it ride that wind. Let's see. No, that's not how you play that. Sure am making it tough on myself. Well, that's going to leave a long putt, so it's a struggle. It's a struggle. What kind of putt are we looking at here? 14 feet 6 inches. It's definitely moving the whole way. I haven't really made a lot of putts. and gives up another one. So there we are, back to even par for the tournament and 3 over for the day. We come to, or the round I should say, we come to number 9, a 3-shot par 5 for me, and probably not for a lot of other people. It's pretty blocked, so not exactly capturing momentum out here. Okay, that bush is not in my way. Someday I think that kind of your swing will be impacted, but stance and swing aren't impacted, just the actual lie. Just get something out here playable. All right, so this is going to leave us a little tailwind here. So 159 downhill, 6 feet 2 inches. Okay, it's either a 7 or 8, and I think I'm going to hit an 8 and just let it be. Just a hair deep, isn't it? Well, I think the 8-iron would have been a hair short. I don't really mind chipping instead of putting necessarily from these distances. So. And really just hitting the ball too hard with the short game right now. So. Trying to save a par here on 9. Haven't even really sniffed any birdies. Oh, I guess I made a birdie on 2. All right. All right, saves the par to stay at 3 over, which is 3 over for the day or / round, and even for the tournament. So to the back 9 we go, looking to claw back a little bit. Almost wanted to hold on to that, I just didn't, so. Didn't see where the tee went. There it is. All right, well, another not great drive. Coming out of the rough, up the hill, the wind a little bit behind me. I think that's another safety iron in there. It won't have a lot of spin on it like these previous ones, so we'll see. Yeah, I could feel that that was short. Soon as I hit it, and indeed just fat. You can see on the 0.2 degrees up. And coming up the hill slightly, I didn't hit that one hard enough, so not making the adjustments real well. Let's try to sneak out of here with our par, though. All right, there's our par. We come into the 193-yard par 3 11th. Downhill 9 yards. Wind cross a little bit. Hit decently. How does it look? Is it going to sit right there? All right, well, leaves us with a putt. Downhill 5 inches. It is moving just in the beginning about that much. It does look like it kicks it off quite a bit. I'm going to trust that it will. How about one, huh? Oh, and it just missed a little bit left. I should have given a little bit less break. There we are with another par, but that brings us into a very long par 4, and the wind is hurting us. cross at 7 miles an hour. All right, still got a long ways to go here. Downhill, 223 yards and downhill 3 feet 9 inches. Wind is cutting across just a hair, but that's okay. Sure thought that was a better out. That would get up there a little further. All right, not a ton of movement, but there is some. Say about not that much. Okay. Stolen par there. See if we can get this turned around with a par 5. Again, this one is definitely a 3-shot par 5 for me, as they all are from these tees. Oh yeah, I fanned that one out there pretty bad, didn't I? Well, it's the worst drive of this round, and probably the worst drive of this tournament as well. But let's see if we can't make up for that with any kind of decent shot. I'm going to put the 7-wood out in safety, I believe, is the play. Roll on down there, should be staying in the short grass. Going to be coming uphill by 10 yards. Wind is moving us to the right. So I'm going to actually send this in about right here. Pretty stiff breeze, and then hit a 8-iron. Ooh, and a little deep. Just a hair deep, barely. All right, time to chip one in. There we go. Take the birdie. Get back to 2 over for the round and 1 under for the tournament. And we are at number 14, a 411-yard par 4 that's significantly downhill, so not too much wind to overcome. Just missed another one, peeled it off to the right with way too much spin. Don't hit the path, but it will. Could have hit it worse there, so, and then roll across. Look at this, living right. Living right. Okay, downhill 176. Wind's in our face a little bit. Okay, I think this is that flushed 5-iron, similar to the one I hit a few holes ago on the par 3. Peel off a little to the right. Oh, wow, short. Okay. Thought I might be able to run that up there, but just wasn't hit that strongly. Sit. Gonna have to make a putt coming back now. Pretty good at giving some strokes up. This is a pretty straight one though. 10 feet, 1 inch. Flat and straight. All right, and for another par, come to one of the relatively short par 4s out here. Okay, this is trouble. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so we're gonna have to do some kind of recovering out here. Probably easiest for me to hit a big fade, actually. So let's see what we got. Okay, well, we're gonna get a little carvy and hopeful with it is what we're gonna do. See if we can carve her in there. All right, couldn't get very far because it was going so low. Some thick grass to run through, so we've got 29 yards, uphill 4 feet 6 inches. Just sit down. Gonna have to make another putt. Looks like it's got a little movement to it. All right, let's get one to go. There we go. Felt like that was almost another stolen par too. So we move on to number 16, the par 3. Downhill 5 yards. 199 yards total. It's going to move it to the left here. So I think we're just hitting the smooth 7-wood instead of trying to stand on that 5-iron. You like that, right? Sit right there, huh? Okay, it's going to run out a little bit. Leave a 25-footer or so. Okay. Moves that much because it moves just a tiny bit the whole way, right? There we go. Steal a birdie. Get back to 1 over for this round, which is 2 under for the tournament. So let's try to keep hanging strong for the last 2 holes here. 428-yard uphill par 4. Wind in our face at 5 miles an hour. Oh, hit the low ball, didn't necessarily mean to, but had way too much spin on it. So not going very far. Leave us a long shot up the hill. And 5 yards uphill, in fact, so it's pretty extreme with that wind continuing and in my face in terms of direction, but it's actually picked up, sped up to 7 to 10 here, 8. Okay, well, let's see. Oh, and it missed it. Why did it miss it? It must have forward pressed or something. Dang it. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's got too much spin on it for sure. And got a work cut out for us a little bit with the par now. 34 yards, mostly flat. Yeah, I gave up on that. I just didn't follow all the way through. A little skirt of it just didn't hit it well. So now we're leaning on the putter again. 13 feet 9 inches, uphill 2 inches. Certainly moves the whole way. I think it moves that much, so let's put it up there, set it straight. Just missed it on the lip there. That is another bogey, so back to 2 over for the round, 1 under for the tournament. And coming to 18, hoping to steal something. That was a tough bogey on 17, but boy, is that a long par 4. All right, 286 out, and we're basically going right at the flag with this line, but we know that we're going to hit a fade, and that's going to keep us safe of that water. And a little more than a fade even, so we're safe over here. Got a longer approach again than I wanted, but wind's on our face a little bit, so I don't want to bring that water into play. So if it comes in long, we're going to live with that. I think actually long is this club, the wedge, the pitching wedge. A little deep. All right, well, some kind of reasonable look at birdie here. Not moving a ton, but it is moving. Like not quite that much, but a little more than I had it before. So right there. Downhill 5 inches, so it doesn't need to go very far. There we go, end with a birdie. Back to 1 over, so that is 1 over for the round. That ends up being 2 under for the tournament. Not great, but not terrible. The best news out here today was the wrist was fine, 100% healthy, had no problems at all. A little aware of it and making sure probably that I was over aware with my right hand, and so some of those shots were a little uncharacteristic because of that. But let's look at the stats real quick before we restart something else. As you can see, 140 is the best. Average is 138, so right about normal for that. 24 putts, not terrible, not great. I think it was 22 in the front, so we're on the first round, so that averaged 23 out. Terrible for me for fairways. I never go that low on the fairways, and terrible for me on the greens. So rushed through a little bit, a little more talking than usual, but I appreciate you joining me. I'm going to tune out of this stream here for just a moment and probably be back in a while. But I appreciate you being here, and we'll talk to you soon.